Uh, Derek played with Heaney and John and they're getting on there, but they come back and play with for the Donegal, you know. And the only regret was that they should have kept the senior team, because you can make money with a senior team. You know, you can have quizzes, you can have duels, you know, and different things. But like everything else, and I won't hold back, there's a few people on the committee then, oh, it's costing too much money to run a senior team and all this and that, you know. And to me, they should have kept the senior team, because it would have got the younger lads coming up something to go, you know, and other people would have come back in and play. So really now it was only juvenile teams, you know. And then the committee has changed over the last, since it's formed, because a lot of people are going to say it straight. A lot of people joined the committee and they have good posts like child officers or secretary or chairman or wherever it be, and they stayed there until that youngsters got about 12 or 13. Okay, they might want them to move on, probably thought they were great players, move on to other bigger clubs. But then they left as well, which I didn't like at all. You know what I mean? I couldn't understand that. They're from Baldoyle, they still live in Baldoyle. I can name every one of them, like, you know what I mean? And if I have to, I'd name them. And that used to annoy me. Where the committee we have now, the secretary, the chairman, the young lads are gone. Yep. They're still in the club, you know. They stay because they're from the area. They want to help build the area up and build a football team or a Gaelic team, hurling team, no matter what. And like myself, my old lads went. John went down to Home Farm, or Daddy went to Home Farm. John went to Whitehall Rangers and Vincent's. But I stayed with Seagrange, and I still manage teams at Seagrange. And I can never understand why people, especially in the area, that they live here, this is their home going to be for the rest of their life. But as soon as their young fellas or their daughters went to another club, they were great when you were on the committee doing their work, because their young fellas were playing. But then as soon as they, oh, well, he's too good for this, we move him down to Portmarnock or somewhere else, they left as well. So they hadn't got it in their head or in their heart to, you know. And I would say to their face if I met them now, I'm not just saying behind the camera or anything like that, you know. Yeah, well, there's a few, like, I know, the only thing we were lucky that we haven't really won a league or a cup, and that's annoys me, like, you know what I mean, like, be honest with you, you know. But we had some great times down in the Baldoyle house there. Like, remember we had a casino night, or we other nights are really great. There's great people around here, you know, really genuine people, like, you know. And then we were always fighting a losing battle because it was only a small club, but we hadn't got pitches or anything like that, you know. To me, it's just, there's a lot of new areas that are coming up down there in Baldoyle, and hopefully we get a big influx of them and we get going. I think every club needs success, you know. Unfortunately, that's the way it is, you know. And if we get that, it'll just build from there. And I'd love to get a minor team to come up and end up as a senior team. I think that will really put us on the map then, you know. So that would be my wish, you know. I'm in the club since it started, and great, geez, we had some great times. I like that in the 1916 commemoration. That was brilliant. You know, we were well looked after. We were there, and we had people out on the pitch carrying their flags and our banners. I thought that was brilliant. I have loads of photographs of that. You know, like, no, we're doing well, and there's good people in the club now. I will say that. You know. But the soccer team, it's like everything else. The soccer team went because what happened was we stopped playing and kids played. But then they come 20, 21, they're off with their girlfriends and they get married. So they move out of the area, you know what I mean? So we know other kids coming back up, you know, and that's how Seagrave fell apart, you know. Now we used to do, a lot of people done a lot of voluntary work in that little Willie hospital, like, you know, which was great, like, you know. and they're still going, and it's lovely. The little swimming pool beside it, I remember one shop out on the seafront in the village, and just behind that was the rent office, behind the Baldoyle house. You know, that little cottage just there, that's where that chap lived, Kip Bourne. Just a bit, but one thing she did do though, and I will say like if you're a bit of a Gaelic speaker, she loved you. She got a few people out here into the post office. I used to go down there before all this COVID like started, like, you know, and that's like, I'll never forget this year as long as I live, because this has just been a disaster year, you know, like especially when you look at all these things happening on the other side of the world, and it used to never come over to this side, you know, but now that it's come over, like, it's so frightening, like, you know what I mean? As I said, your lads hadn't seen the grandkids for a couple of months, you know what I mean? Only on the phone and that, you know the way. And my lads, we fair play, 3 sons, and they were great. But then again, the Donegal done an awful lot too. I could have got all my stuff from the Donegal, like all the messages, but the lads wanted to do their bit, and they come over once a week with the food, put it on the bench. The restrictions got a bit more thing that people, a friend of mine, Albert, he'll actually come into the house now, you know, and he'd sit there and I'd say, here, you know, have a cup of tea or a few cans of Guinness or something, you know. That's been great, because there's times I wouldn't see anyone for a whole week. Talk, you might just see your neighbour walking by, how are you? Everyone is standing, everyone is really, like, you know, like you be walking through the park and a person coming towards you and you walk 30 yards inside. I used to say, I'm not a bleeding zombie, you're not going to take a bite out of you, you know. People were so afraid, which probably that's the way it was. So I just kept local. I don't go to Donamead, I haven't been up in Donamead. I just stay around the shop around the corner, the Lidl or Little. The local clubs, the GA club and the Donegal, you know, they done an awful lot for the area, like, you know. And other people, like, you could ring this number up and you get this, you get that, like, you know. And fair play all the health works and all that, but like, people have to realise that is their job. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a foreman, like, and the house on fire, you don't go out and say, oh, I'm afraid of fires, I'll stay in the cab. That's your job. You know what I mean? It's like your guards. That's their job. Like, you know what I mean? I was a truck driver all my life. That was my job. Or a bus driver. You know, like, so you have to do your job, and that's it. And that's like the health workers. I know that it's brilliant and an awful lot of things, but like, that is their job. You know, like, unfortunately this came and allowed them caught this disease, like, you know what I mean? But like, you join these places or these to do your job. You know, like, if everyone said, you know, as I say, a fireman or in a lifeboat, like, you know, life saving or anything like that, that's your job to do it, like, you know. So, oh, it's just a complete disaster, like, you know what I mean? I don't agree a lot with Donald Trump, but I do blame the Chinese, to be honest with you. I think it did come from them, and, you know, that should have been locked down straight away, the whole place, China, like, you know. And I think the government, they're doing it, I think, as best they can, like, you know what I mean? Like, and then their excuse is, at the end of the day, we're going on the health, a voice from the health, you know, to people from the health, like, you know what I mean? But before that, like, to me, the 3 parties or the 4 parties, they're all crap. You know, it's all corruption. Every one of them is corrupt, you know. Yeah, well, I think with enough people there now around, like, you know, like, I'd love to see, okay, we want more stuff, but more security in places, like, you know what I mean? Like, you build a park, you know, you build a lovely park. If you don't have anyone, if it's going to be full of young fellas drinking cans all night, you're trouble and all this and that, you know? Like, all these areas all around, even every household had to give a fiver a Thursday. But like what you do have in America, parts of America, you get your own security, you know, and they police the area, you know what I mean? Rather than, you know, like what's happening, like to me, this could be a gorgeous. I mean, the view down that road down the end there is absolutely fantastic, like, you know what I mean? Like, I walk down there every second day and just breathe the air down there, you know, it's beautiful, like, you know. And I think we are getting things done slowly but surely, like, but I do think that they should secure places more, you know what I mean? You know, put people on to make it better for the likes of us, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't walk through that park in the night time through that alleyway, you know, up the Bayside. I'd be afraid of my life, you know what I mean? And there's nobody up there, you know. So things like that I think could be done a bit better in the area, like, you know. Apart from that, I think it's a brilliant area, like, I love it now, coming from the inner city, you know, I wouldn't change it for the rest of my life, you know what I mean? We all went up with our lawnmowers and rakes and this and that and cleared it all, any humps and lumps, shovels, and cleared it all out. And we used to play our 5-a-sides up there, 7-a-sides up there. And we used to march there, we about 60 of us every Sunday morning, down to the Baldoyle house, because the other pub wasn't opened. And we were going by, and that was all fields there. And when we got up that Sunday morning, all the clothes were missing off the line, all gone. Like shorts and all that. I had a lovely black short, gorgeous, Rob. And we went out, up, there was all the so we knew it was them, you know what I mean? So it was gas. We played our football and we all marched out and all, and one of the lads, like everyone knows who, Harry Doyle, like a lot of mates, he died there a couple of years ago. And Harry said to you, man, we're going down the pub, and when we come back up, if you're not gone, we bung yous out. So we went out, we came back up, they were all gone. I still never got my black shirt back, but